been such a long time since the last time we got to see each other, but I'm back from vacation, all rested, relaxed, and rejuvenated. Um, our cast is a little smaller this time, just some scheduling conflicts, but that is perfectly okay. But anyway, let's get on with the show. As you all know, I am Dr.JWolfenstein. Welcome to my stream where we play Tyranny of Dragons. Normally, I have a wonderful, fantastic crew of 6 players, but tonight I only have 3. But the show must go on because you guys would like to see the show. So I make do. So, I will start by introducing our missing players because I think that's just the quickest way to do this. So we have Mariana Goldenway, who is our satyr paladin. She is normally played by Mr. Urich. Unfortunately, he could not be here. We have Fear, our death domain turtle. I almost said dragon turtle. I mean, yeah, that kind of works. He's going for a very dragon turtle-esque kind of deal. But Firhe, our Death Domain Cleric, played by Mr. Whitehill, whose real name I can't even begin to pronounce, so I'm not going to try. And then we have our Earth Genasi Wildfire Druid, played by Mr. Matt. And we dropped... There we go. So, on to the party who is here. In order as they appear on my Roll20 screen. We have the Wood Elf Rune Knight Serial, played by Mr. Mason.
Hello, boys and girls. Let's get down to business.
We have Celine the Stargazer, played by the ever-lovely Callie Cat, our Warlock Cleric hybrid.
Hello there, everyone. Let's continue to adventure and all be friends together.
And then we have Rattlegast, our half-orc, played by Mr. David.
Yo!
In that voice, too! Oh, that's great. Anyway,
I'm imagining old surfer orc, and I love the image.
Yes.
We may end up having one of our members back because, someone just came online.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice,
baby. But whether or not they join, if they do, great. If not, that is okay too. Just some scheduling conflicts. Anyway, when last we left off, I'm so very sorry, Dr.JWolfenstein, your master of dungeons, and I'm going to be running this. We'll call it a hell show in honor of Halloween that just came by, and of course, Dia de los Muertos and Dia de los Angelitos. For those of you celebrating those fine traditions, I hope that you were enjoying them, and I hope you remembered all your loved ones. Oh, fun bit of news before we get too far into the game. For those of you who aren't in the know, which I don't know why you wouldn't be if you're watching a small-ass nobody stream like me, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is coming out on November 17th. If you pre-ordered it through Amazon, your book will be shipped to you. Hopefully it'll either arrive or ship by that date. If you go to D&D Beyond right now, you can pre-order it. You get some awesome goodies for pre-ordering. Plus, you get access to everything as soon as it drops. That is 22 subclasses, for those of you who don't know. Artificer complete work-in. No more just Eberron. You can now actually have real Artificer lore for core games. And a new Artificer subclass, the Armorer. But of course, the only reason I bring it up is because one of our classes becomes actually relevant and actually official material in Tasha's. And that is, of course, our Rune Knight, Mr. Mason. His class is getting an actual full release in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, making the Rune Knight officially official material and no longer UA. So those of you who love the Rune Knight flavor and want to see the new revised rules, check it out. And again, Wizards of the Coast isn't paying me shit. D&D Beyond isn't paying me shit. I only shout out things that I enjoy. So.
And I'll tell you all this right now. It is so much fun making your enemies hit each other.
That it is. Anyway, without further ado, we will get right back into it. So, when last we left our adventurers, I don't know why the air quotes. I was going to say heroes, but then decided adventurers might be a better idea. I'm
not sure why you made the change.
Right. You guys have been on the road for a little while. You made it. Let me pull you to a map of the Sword Coast so I can look at it too.
Oh yeah, we made it to the end and then we kicked out the assholes.
That is correct. You made it to the base. What the fuck? Oh right. You made it to. You're traveling along this road, and you made it here. Made it just out of the Fields of the Dead to the base of the Troll Claws mountain range. You found an inn, and there were a group of not very nice people inside who had rented out the entire place, plus the stables for the night. And they were kind of rude. When Mr. Rattlegast tried to spill a drink without being obvious about it and failed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As payback for their rude behavior, it caused a fight. Thankfully, no one was killed.
I wouldn't say it was a fight. I'd say we're just teaching some hooligans a lesson.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, no one was killed. And you all managed to escape from there with minimal injuries, minimal problems, and just...
I don't think anybody even got hurt with all the healing magic.
Very possible.
Much like a werewolf, as soon as they got hit, they immediately stitched back together. Should use silver, motherfucker.
And just a fun little FYI. Because this is a point where I think it'll be appropriate to award out some XP. Let me double check and make sure of everything. So, being able to defeat them, thankfully, they weren't too much of a trouble. Although one or two of you got kind of banged up, but by the end of it, you were healed up. Because we do have a healer. Finally. I mean, what? I didn't say that.
At least a proper healer.
Why didn't I make them pick a healing class? Because I don't like to shoehorn my players that way. If they don't want to pick a healer and, some people die, that's not on me. I'm just saying. I'm innocent. I am not a crook.
You're convincing us.
You're not the
convinced.
So, on the road, you've taken care of some animal abuse. You've taken care of a situation in which you made enemies with an owl. Or
I did not make any enemies. I also saved him. It's more like rivalry.
Mm.
And actually, it wasn't me. It was only Saloon.
Wait, hold up. What?
Oh, Saloon the hummingbird pissed off the biggest great horned owl you've ever seen. And then he was freed later on.
And then Harp freed him. There's a combination of the two.
Yeah. And then
Okay, wait. Did he show up at a lake and ask you if you wanted to hear this information again?
No. He instead met a pack of other owls. You could swear he was wearing a monocle at that point. Because he stole one. And he flew away. Probably to murder a rooster or something.
Excuse me? He stole what?
He stole a monocle.
Yeah, I actually thought a certain Radagast got the monocle.
I don't think he had a monocle when he left.
Oh, right. You stole it from him as he flew out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything. I wouldn't steal a thing. I'm innocent. Look at me, I'm an old man.
Old man, how could he ever?
So everybody gets 567 experience points for the journey up to this point.
Alright.
Arthritis riddled fingers. You think I've got the guile to steal?
You said 500 and what?
567 experience points.
4, 2, 4, 2, 6, 5. Got it. I honestly don't know the leveling caps. Like, that's not level 5, right?
It shouldn't be. Let me double check real quick.
Level 5 is 6,500.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
See, there you go. Not even close.
Well, not all of you are close, but I will say this: Rattlegast, give yourself 100 more experience points for A, stealing the monocle, and B, for I will allow you to play off your old man nature because old man and it's funny.
One, I don't know what you're talking about, and two, I'm a helpless old man. What do you mean play off?
Right. Thank you for being in character so much. I greatly appreciate it. For you, Miss Callie Cat, go ahead and add 150 experience points for triggering most of the events around here.
Well, me being a fire starter, problem, friend.
I mean, shit stir is also a apt description.
We're heroes. We need to act like it, damn it.
Whatever you say, you delightful little imp.
Okay, correction. Cereal and Wolfenite are heroes. You're claiming something you're not. And
I thought
and Rattlegast is just an old man you've all dragged around with you
that
in
makes sense to me.
shenanigans. And
That's
Mariana's a
100%
brand
true.
new character who has not done much of anything yet. So shush. Let us be very clear on the record.
I've healed people. I've painted a sign. I've talked people into donations. I've done lots of heroic stuff.
You've talked yourself through the night to the point that you got exhausted and then blacked the out.
Yeah. See?
Welcome to Stardew, apparently.
It is very Stardew Valley. Which I do have to do some role playing on here soon. So
I mean, you know. I'm going to mark this up with a pencil. By the way, this is my book. I own it. I can mark it up all I want. That's not for you guys. That's for them guys.
I figured. I also know that knowing you, considering what I do know about you, if it was someone else's book, you probably have sticky notes.
I have sticky notes in this too, but I still have to mark it.
Yes, but you know what I mean. You'd have sticky notes specifically for the markings.
Yes, I know. Because I treat other people's property better than I treat my own property. And my property is well cared for, so I don't know why I care so much, but I care. All right. So, as you guys stay at the inn, the innkeeper is a little nervous. Reasonably so. I mean, he did just witness you guys beat the snot out of 4 undercover veteran guards from Baldur's Gate, who are probably deserters. He watched you trounce them quite thoroughly, and yeah, he kind of.
I didn't attack a single person.
True, but he is more than happy to give out the rooms at a discounted rate, although you're all employed. Rattlegast, you're employed by your bird keeper man who is... What the hell is his name? Hold on.
Oh, gotta get my notes.
Oyen.
Oh, that's right. The guy that got super drunk and was throwing stuff while entangled.
Yeah.
Yes. The male human who couldn't hit damn near anything. But had to defend Rattlegast, his old guard. And then Acrony is paying for the rest of you. He is your furs and hides merchant. And
I'm just glad that the humble innkeeper gets a very proportional sized payment compared to the issues he had to deal with.
fair enough.
I would say he earned it.
I would too. Especially dealing with you lot. But
Love you too, bastard.
hey, both my
Not
parents were
our
married
fault,
before I was
but-
born.
That they were going to be so violent to an old man who spilled his drink.
Yeah,
Not
the
us
old
at
orc
all.
who spilled his
Exactly.
drink.
In
Yeah.
may
Tripping.
I
Tripped.
Yes.
may I in character do an insight check to see if I can kind of determine, like, at least suspect something just for the sake of flame.
I'm going to say no because you had left with Acrony.
Oh yeah, I
You
was
and
outside.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
and
no, that's
Fear
fair.
had
That's
left with Acrony at and tried to console him about these guys being rude.
yeah,
He had
yeah.
resigned himself to
Anything,
sleep in your carriage.
anything you actually would already have an idea because I was carrying people out one by one and putting them on their horses.
Yes, you did see Serial carrying out slightly dazed and mostly unconscious people, tying them to their horses and slapping their horses to send them on their way.
That much I've seen.
Yes. Fear just kind of watched the whole scene and just kind of smirked the whole time. A little disappointed there's no dead people, but
I was told we shouldn't kill the problem.
You were told by the barkeeper no no killing people in my establishment. And you were at least nice enough to abide him that one favor. So
I upheld his rules, the other guests had not.
true. They were trying to kill you. They were perfectly prepared to murder all of you. Anyway,
It's the lot of them.
savages, the lot of them.
Well, I'm sure our resident old man could have taken them without actual help.
You never know.
Yeah, the only clue I would have is that there was a little bit of sword sticking with the rapier, but that's about it.
Wasn't, deadly.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've seen. But
All I know at this point is I rewatched the session, and for whatever reason, every time I use giant form, all I hear in my mind is the Mario effect.
oh gosh. So now that we have a room, but all this violence went down, I'm gonna have Celine sit next to the fire where those guys were,
Yes.
and I'm going to just sit there and just stare into the flames. Because I have to use my I used up all my spell slots, so I'm gonna roleplay that as they're being just completely exhausted.
Mason, I love you, but can you mute your mic while you do that?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
Thank you. As now most of the caravan gathers into the inn, it's a full house. You guys have taken all the rooms. You notice that all the merchants have claimed the rooms for various reasons. Obviously, because they're the merchants and they are contributing most of the guard to this caravan. So they have claimed the rooms for themselves. The downstairs is mostly kept for everyone else. The few families who have come with you, which is only like one or two, they've kind of claimed a corner towards the door and the stairs. You guys and the other guards and bodyguards of the various merchants have all been given preferential treatment. Mostly because, again, all of the guards, even the bodyguards, and you, Rattlegast, this isn't your first rodeo in a caravan of this nature. But you know that you're guarding the whole caravan. Your priority is to keep your merchant alive, but, if shit comes attacking the caravan, you're going to have to fight it. So, that's where you're at. You guys are given drink gratis. There isn't much in the way of food. He had a bit of stew left from the evening meal. It seems those guys have kind of cleaned him out at House and Home. And he does make mention that his father, who is too old to run the place, but does run errands, is off to market getting a fresh shipment. So he was the only one here. But he happily offers his own personal room up for whoever wants it. And Acrony is quick to accept him. on his offer because it was my guards and onions here who got rid of these ruffians for you, so we'll take the best rooms. And again, all the merchants are very generous with the price of the rooms. They give a little bit more because it was miserable outside, cold, rainy, just terrible. So they're
Gertie was pretty upset. I'll go ahead and let him inflate his ego a little bit.
yeah, he was very pissed off about the way noble people acted and very incensed.
I remember that. Yeah, let him be a hero in his own way.
Where are the ways of the false noble?
Oyen is drunk and in his cups, but he walks up to you, Rattleguest. You know, he grabs like your thigh because that's his high. Well, actually, no, he's a human. Never mind. I thought he was the gnome. He grabs your shoulder. There's a gnome merchant with you. He grabs your shoulder. You know, Rattleguest, you're a good sport. And
and you, Owen.
I'm so glad I hired you. And I know you're an orc, or at least half of one. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And he pats your chest.
Oh no. No, they'll never grind me down. No, you're not with you around.
I threw that cup.
You threw the heck out of that cup.
I ship it so hard. Just saying.
You stunned them with your accuracy. It was amazing.
Well, I guess it's true. There are three types of drunk. The mere guy, the I love you guy, and the I'm a mess guy.
I'm gonna go to bed now.
That's a swell idea. Oh yeah, I think you and I are both far too drunk to continue.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to tell you.
It's okay. It's not obvious. The others have no idea.
That's what I thought.
Go.
But
Yes,
don't let it ever be said that I'm not appreciative. And he
us
grabs
half
your
orc.
hand and hands you 5 gold pieces.
Oh, thank you. And us half orcs have a little saying we keep it on the down low.
That's what I'm saying.
I love Mason's response.
Not as low as the gnomes.
By the way, Rattleguest, you were hired as a bodyguard. You were being paid 10 gold per 10 day. 10 day is essentially a week.
Yeah.
So he just handed you half your weekly salary in one sitting as a bonus. So he is being generous for what he's hired you for.
Okay.
And that's not for you, rather you. That is 100% for our audience, just to make sure that they understand. Because I want the audience to understand. You're not always going to get the hundreds of gold that people see. That's for, raiding treasure chests and shit. But when you're doing everyday work, you're getting paid everyday pay.
The only reason why I have so much is because I haven't had to spend that much.
We're kind of all in the same boat, yeah.
Been sitting here being miserly as
And just so you know, the basic guards are only being paid 5 gold per 10 day. So he did just make as much as most of those people in a night as they do in a week. Well, 10 days, but just wanted to clear that out.
as long as I keep it on the DL.
Yeah, but he stumbles off to his new room. Acrony, however, is now thoroughly in his spirits and happy, and he's buying drinks for everybody. He doesn't have to, but he's always throwing like a couple coppers at the guy every time he gets a drink. So by the end of the night, and for all the drinks he's bought, the guy will have a pretty haul. So Acrony's just cheering and overjoyed at the results. I want Mason and Callie to roll perception checks. Rattlegast, your passive perception.
13.
Yes.
Oops. Gotta
Just
pull up Tyranny.
my passive is higher than my roll.
um,
14.
Celine, you would notice this. Rattlegast, you notice it only because it's very obvious. Mostly because you're not looking for it. Or rather, you've seen them so much that now you're especially keen on where they're at. Because you did say a couple sessions ago you were keeping a special eye on them. The wagons with the large group, that all seem to be united. There's about 5 wagons in total, with about 12 guards or so, and various others. They're not in the tavern. They're not staying in the building. They're outside, in the rain and miserableness, sleeping next to their carts, under tarps and makeshift tents that they've erected pretty quickly. But they're staying pretty close together, and every time they camp, or at least tonight, you're pretty sure it's every time though. They put the wagons like in the center. There's a guy sleeping on each wagon, and then they kind of ring the wagons in tents.
Hmm.
Just one man tents, so they're always carrying them. But they just kind of ring the wagon in tents, and then just kind of have a dude on patrol all the time. They don't seem to be very friendly. Just thought. But you managed to have yourselves a great day, and or well, rather a great rest of your evening. Is there anything?
So,
Yes.
when the night clears out a little bit, I'd like to do something. I'm sorry, I thought that's where you were going.
That's exactly where I was going. I was about to ask, is there anything the three of you want to do during the night? And so, Celine, we'll start with you.
So, has the rain let up any?
It's not as much of a downpour as when you first arrived, but it is still raining.
I have, Celine has not moved since this whole thing has happened. She's literally just been staring into the fire. And when this place is mostly cleared out, she'll take about 4 pages from the book, and from it, including the very elaborate drawing of Rattlegas, to the Darmy funeral, to a few others, and the broom song, and those will all be thrown into the fire.
Okay.
As she just stares into it, and that's all she's going to do, and she'll stay up the entire night just staring into the flames.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Will do.
Matt. Or, sorry, not Matt. Mason.
Other M, I'll be taking the time to engrave my sky rune on both my longsword and my shield.
Okay.
Other than that, I'll be doing basic weapons upkeep for everyone, sharpening swords, mending scabbards and such.
And that's fine.
Smith work.
Yep. No trouble at all. For the guards, you can do that fairly easy. It will take you about half the night. But you are an elf who does trance, so you will be fine. And
I mean, I'm basically going to a train doing this.
yeah, right. And Mr. David, what are you doing?
I think, did I get a room?
No, you're in the common room with everyone else.
Okay.
Only the merchants got rooms.
Dang it. But I can sleep in here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can sleep in the inn. You guys are in the big common area downstairs with all the tables and stuff that have been moved off to the side to create a massive floor living space.
You know how the guys that we kicked out had rented the whole place?
Mm-hmm.
We appropriated that rent.
Yeah, got it. So
appropriated and paid for.
Yeah, while Oyen was still in the common area before he retired, I I assumed that he was at the bar drinking, and so I was drinking with him, but I was drinking a lot slower than he was.
Yeah.
So I'd maybe finished like half a glass or something like that.
Yeah, half a stein.
You finished
Mhm.
half a stein on someone else anyway.
hmm Uh, and then when he retired, I just rolled out my bed and um, made a spot to sleep.
Okay. Fair enough. Um, that's no trouble at all. So, uh, as you guys sleep through the night, um, most
Or
everyone,
not.
or not, in some
Does an
cases,
18 pass?
yes, it does.
Cool.
Um, as you guys get through the night, let's say, you wake in the morning. The sky is still overcast and cloudy, but there is no rain. Although you see further down the path you traveled, the clouds are darker, and it does seem like the rain has passed you, and you're getting towards the edge of the storm. But it was still a pretty impressive downpour, I got to say. Um, but you guys can continue on your path and on your journey. Is there anything you do in the morning before you leave?
I I have Celine just have she has not moved the entire night. Just stared into the flames. Um, and then when everybody's kind of leaving, she just tiredly gets up and closes the book. And you just see her just pull her hood over her head and just look straight down at the book, kind of clearly very depressed about whatever had transpired. And about a few seconds later, she starts to brighten up and just kind of start talking to Akuni like nothing happened. But you notice that she's talking to him with a blank stare, a
Mm-hmm.
little lost, almost looking.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm sorry. You're talking to who again?
Akuni. Akuni.
Ah. Um, and he's mostly just telling you, get ready for the day, and we're traveling when everybody else wakes up, and so it's pretty easy talking. Fear, Wolfenite, and Mariana are going about loading up the wagon and the carriages. His two drivers are brushing out and tending to the horses. Mason, Rattlegast, as you two wake, anything specific you wanted to do?
Mm, I'm gonna
I'd be checking the carriages.
yeah, I'm checking on those the carriages that the guys were sleeping with.
As you go outside, you notice that they are all awake. All their tents are packed, and they seem to be like bristling to go, but don't want to risk it just yet.
How
Uh,
early is it?
it's about 6 going on to 7.
Hmm,
Getting everything ready. You guys tend to leave your camps around 8 o'clock in the morning, but you do start getting ready fairly early. Um,
okay.
you mostly only don't go right away because there are a few merchants who are lazy. Also, the families that have stuck with you seem to be a little slower on the go because families not used to this life, and it is a long trek. So it is. It does take you about 40 days to get to, uh, you know, Waterdeep.
Location.
Waterdeep is the location I wanted. Um, but you guys know that your path over Troll Claws will take you to the town of Dragonspear, which is on the edge of the High Moor, right between the Trollbark Forest and the High Moor, actually. From there, you go to Daggerford. From Daggerford to Waterdeep. Um, and this road you're coming up to, you're gonna leave the coastal way And once you get to Dragon Spear, you'll take the trade away. Yes, that is the High Moor. The Troll Hills and Troll Bark Forest are over here. Dragon Spear and Daggerford and Waterdeep. So, as you guys are packing up the wagons, you do notice again that these guys keep very much to themselves, are very secretive and selective. You do notice that one walker, one of the camp followers. Most of these guys are older adventurers, or probably people who don't have much else anymore, or just wanderers. You do see that one of them does approach these guys about hitching a ride, and they very brusquely like shove him away and like no. And it looks like it's gonna get heated for a second, but the one guy is quick to see he's outnumbered, and so just kind of casually walks away.
I said, ooh, fun.
Yes.
The carriages that they're escorting, can I tell from the outside what their purpose would be? What type of carriage?
So they're mostly carrying goods, and let me pull up one or two things to make sure I'm accurate. They're typical merchants hauling freight. Um, they seem to be carrying odds and ends, various things, each one a little bit different. The carriages do have a sense of uniformity in the goods they're carrying, but the fact that there's five wagons, all carrying something different, a different set of stuff, is kind of interesting in and of itself. One carriage is carrying just boxes and crates. One's carrying barrels and a couple of tarps over the top. One is just carrying has just a lot of tarps covering whatever's inside. And then there's one cart that's not very full, but it is tarped and covered. And there does seem to be one or two more guards on that one. You then see another cart just carrying chests of random various sizes, shapes, and qualities.
So these are open top carriages. Some of them
Yes.
with tarps over them.
All of them have tarps over them.
Okay.
But you know you can only.
But I can
disguise
tell the
crates.
shapes.
You can only disguise
Yeah.
crates so well. You can only disguise barrels so well.
Yeah.
3 of them are just carrying other storage goods, crates, chests, barrels. 2 are carrying something else that is so tarped down and covered that you can't see.
Okay.
But nobody's sitting in the carts or on the backs of the carts. And the way they travel, it's 2 people on the driver's seat because it's a bench. So 2 people there, 2 people in the back, and then they ride kind of 2, 2, 1. And then so they do create a kind of like pyramid shape as they're going forward. And they do take the lead. They are the lead elements of this caravan. They are moving the fastest.
Okay.
Mason.
Yes.
Oh no, Celine actually. Because
All
I
right.
believed you helped. You and Rattlegast helped in this endeavor. You two do notice that Wolfenite is looking at the road where you came from, a little distressed.
Yeah, just give him kind of a concerned pat on the shoulder for a second, and just get a head tilt, like, you alright?
Those horses haven't come this way. And that's all he says.
Yeah,
And he's just kind of watching the road.
I suppose we could always catch up. Just kind of offering it to him.
He thinks about it, but then just shakes his head and goes back to get on his driver's seat. Because he is technically driving. Driving the carriage that you guys purchased, anyway.
Let me just double check something here. Just checking something real quick.
No worries.
Just my spell list.
No worries. Go ahead and adjust that as you would like, because you are one of those annoying prepared spellcasters.
Yep.
Anyway, so I would like, let's go, David. Go ahead and roll me a d20.
Oh. Bink.
Okay. This is you guys leave the tavern and the inn, and you guys enter the Troll Claws Mountains. As you do, it's a very quiet day. Nothing really happens, and you guys are just traveling on. The road is a little steeper, a little rockier, a little less well cared for, simply because, puppy. But no, because mountain paths are more difficult to, keep clear. But you guys are making your time. You guys are still just climbing the mountain, but you are climbing. And so your first day in the Troll Claws is very uneventful. It'll take about 3 days or so to get through. Maybe a little more, depending on travel. So that's day 1. Mason, go ahead and roll me a d20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
So again, another day of just traveling. Nothing crazy. Nothing bonkers. But, another day of travel. You're not complaining.
All right.
And finally, we go to Cali Cat.
Yeah. So sadly, I was seeing if I knew augury. Kind of to check up on the horses and kind of roleplay that, but sadly, I do not. Which is kind of funny considering my theme. Yeah, I think we're just going to continue on for the day. However, as soon as we get a night where it's a little bit more starbound, I'm going to, of course, have her stay up again for that.
So far, it's just been cloudy.
All right. So I'll just have her sleep. I assume I can get the benefits of a long rest.
Yes.
Okay. So let me make sure to unclick because I used everything in that last.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. I'm going to have her, I'm getting super curious about that one party. And so I'm actually going to have, Saloon kind of go over and check it out. But I know I'm not going to get much info because, well, Hummingbird. I forgot if I can see through him or not, but I don't think I can.
No, you can't see through him, but he can talk to you.
Yeah, I can communicate with it telepathically. And yes, I can, actually.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, with the Find Familiar spell, you can. Additionally, as an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn.
Yep.
So, actually, I'm going to have it kind of annoyingly check out, like, some of those, some of the wagons that were, like, completely covered. Because he's a small hummingbird, I'm pretty sure he can find a way to kind of...
You certainly hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll a stealth or acrobatics check for the bird.
Alright, let's do... probably acrobatics. Let me check his list. Saloon. Character sheet. Core. And and that would be acrobatic. Just double checking. No, wait, he's got proficiency in stealth. Never mind. That's a 6.
So, as your bird gets close, these guys all are starting to take swings and, just shoo away Saloon. Eventually, though, one of them does hit Saloon. And how much HP does he have?
Actually quite a bit because of the temporary hit points.
Well, they do deal him 4 points of slashing damage as they, or piercing damage, excuse me, as they hit him with a spear.
Alright, that's gonna be... Yeah, he's fine.
If he stays around, he's going to continue to be attacked by all the guards.
Yeah, he's just gonna fly off, kind of mildly annoyed, but he will be back. Just gonna get them again.
And since we're beginning your third day through the troll claws, why don't you go ahead and give us a roll 20 or a d20?
Roll 1d20. That's a 9.
Well, you guys have beat some fantastic odds because you make it through the troll claws with no issues at all. You guys make it through. Oh, sorry. I thought you said something. You guys make it through. The last day, there is a deep ravine where there's a river running below. You guys do come to a bridge made of stone. Think a little bit wider than the bridge of Khazad-dûm from Lord of the Rings. You shall not pass that bridge. A little wider. Wide enough for a wagon, but not much else. So it is a single file trip, but you make it through just fine. The path is sturdy, well kept. It doesn't look like this bridge is suffering any deterioration of any kind.
Well, we never woke the troll hiding under the bridge.
I mean, if a troll can fly over 100 feet to hide under the bridge, then yeah, I mean, you could.
It's D&D, I don't... You know.
True. So you guys make it down the troll claws, and you camp at the base for the night. As night breaks, or as night arrives, these guys, again, this particular caravan has just gone on ahead a little bit. They always set themselves away from camp, but close enough where if they call out, they're going to be heard.
Yeah.
And again, they have the most guards. This particular group has the most guards on call. But they all look regular guards in regular garb. There's nothing that really stands out about them other than, they're weird. You do, however, as night breaks, or as night arrives. I keep fucking doing that. You do see a small group of adventurers or people coming down the path behind you. And they do make their way towards you guys with torches alit as it's getting dark and very obvious to be seen. You guys get there, or these new adventurers arrive. You then, as they arrive, there's a bit of a commotion. They are very boisterous in their arrival, but they're very well liked almost instantly. They're very charismatic and seem to be well used to the adventuring life. as they make their way throughout the camp and everything, Rattlegast, they start talking to Oyen and like really regaling him, and Oyen seems to take an unusual shine to these guys. Um, uh, but he seems to take an interest with them because they'll happily debate and discuss with him into the wee hours of the morning. Um, you not so much. You're a little smarter than that because you know Oyen could go on for hours, and will eventually loop around to the same topic. Um, Oyen isn't me at all. It's fucking. I feel called out in a D&D book. Fucking assholes. Just a little bit. But these guys are talking throughout the night. You help Oyen. You mostly do the work by yourself tonight, as Oyen seems to be in his cups, drinking and just enjoying this new company. I want Celine to roll me an investigate. No, an insight check.
Insight? Sure. Insight. There it is. 15?
Okay. They're nice guys. It's a group of about 5. They're all humans. Um, this one guy has some nice looking armor. This other dude is clearly a wizard. From if not from the long beard and the pointy fucking hat, definitely the book and the staff kind of give it away.
Gotcha.
But just they're 5. They're just 5 adventurers, and they got some good looking gear on them. They're about as well geared as Serial or Wolfenite. So
yeah, definitely a gathered party. Well, I guess Celine being who she is, I get to go make friends.
Okay, so you approach the
And
group.
oh yeah.
As you do, you notice that the wizard and one of the other older gentlemen, because one of these guys is fairly middle-aged, they're having an intense discussion with Oyen, whereas the warrior and the other 2 are just kind of sitting there eating, drinking, and enjoying the company.
Well, in Celine's usual fashion, I have to ask them if they know, what they've done, where they've been, kind of get collecting stories again.
You see the warrior. Aha! We've bested some ferocious monsters. We defeated a minotaur, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, Celine puts both of her hands on her cheeks. It's like, oh, a minotaur, really?
Aye, and we
Like that level of fangirlism.
You see the other, a human woman dressed in warrior's garb, heavier armor with an actual battle axe on her back. Aye, and we saved this beautiful, beautiful prince. Oh, he stole my heart. Sadly, he had to go back to his home country.
I'm sorry, I'm eavesdropping, by the way, and I'd like to, as I'm listening to them, see if I can tell how truthful they're being.
Roll an insight check.
Oh, wow.
So, if they're not telling the truth, and you're fairly certain they're not, they're convincing liars. They've never met someone as wily and cutting as you, though. Roll me an investigation check with that insight check.
Dang.
That staff that the wizard's holding, because he's the closest one to you. You're not sure staves are supposed to be burnt at one end. You're also pretty sure that staves are supposed to have some kind of glyph or crystal or something. This is very plain if it's a magic staff. But that's about it. Although, then again, you're not really a master of the arcane, so what do you know? But it's odd. Looks more like a walking stick. But
cool.
the maiden is clearly lying that she saved this far off prince. The battling the Minotaur, the party looks like they could handle one. Maybe. If they are what they claim to be, which you doubt. You doubt very highly. But the maiden...
I'd like to actually call them out in this in a very interesting way, if I may.
That depends.
So my idea is that she's actually going to grill them with performance here, but based on the stories of Minotaurs. So she's going to ask, "Oh, is that true?" You know, this like aspect of the story, like all these like little details that she's collected from stories, which may be wrong in the first place, but she's going to kind of grill them when stuff doesn't line up with her, you know, with the tales she's heard.
Roll me an intelligence check.
An intelligence check?
Check. And I'm going to roll something for them.
And I'm going to add guidance to this, if that's alright.
That's fine with me. You're not concentrating on anything else, so...
It's a 12.
So, they know Minotaurs better than you do. You actually find some information that you didn't know. For instance, all Minotaurs, there are Minotaurs that are women. But anytime a Minotaur breeds with anything that is not another Minotaur, it comes out as a human. Or rather, a Minotaur male. Any Minotaur breeding with another female Minotaur, which is a very rare thing, will always produce a Minotaur. Could be either gender. But anytime a male Minotaur mates with a female of non-Minotaur blood, it is always male. They do tend to prefer the labyrinths, and they do tend to be good guards there because of their sense of smell, not their sight. They're actually following you through scent trails. And they go into great detail on how they fooled the Minotaur by disguising their scent as other creatures. And so when he came thinking he was going to have an easy meal, he had a real fight on his hands. And he wasn't prepared for it. They mention the proper, dimensions of Minotaur. The meat-eating nature of a rather bovine-looking creature. Yeah, they know a fair bit more than you about Minotaurs. Yep. And so their story lines up. David, if you would like to try and roll an intelligence check to see what you know about Minotaurs, you're more than welcome to.
Sure.
Because you are eavesdropping on the conversation. Check, not save.
Oh.
I had an echo.
Yeah, right. Again, they impress you with their knowledge of the creatures. You find that they've beaten off packs of wolves, which is fairly typical adventure stuff. The prince of the far-off country is the only thing that you know is a lie for sure.
I'm gonna draw them up the prettiest prince while we're talking.
But you guys go in through the night. I would like Rattlegast and Celine to make charisma saving throws, please.
Alright.
In the meantime, I'll be actually using the Drake skills I collected much earlier and decorating my scabbard sword.
Go ahead and roll a Smith's Tools check. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are able to bedeck your scabbard with your Drake scales. And you now have a Drake scale scabbard. Was it the guard Drake or the ambush Drake?
It was the guard Drake we got.
So it's blue. Okay. So the night goes on uneventfully. Aside from these new arrivals, who are very cheerful and very jovial people. As you all wake up in the morning and you're getting ready, Rattlegast, you notice the 5 adventurers are now loading up Oyen's cart. And Oyen approaches you. Rattlegast, may we talk?
Yes, what is it? Oh, yeah, it looks like you have a few more hands on your cart.
Yes, I do. My friend, you have been a very loyal companion and a very attentive guard, but these 5 adventures, well, they're just a little bit more cut out for the ruggedness of travel. And I don't want to put you out, old boy, but I'm afraid I've engaged them in their services. I feel that they would be a better group to protect me, and there are 5 of them, and they're willing to offer their services for only 8 gold.
Orion, friend, I can't believe you would do this. We have such history.
We do, but this is business, my friend. And I do have to make a profit. I've already lost out on that magnificent owl that we unfortunately let escape. But here, he does pay you for the 10-day that you've already traveled. So he does pay you your 10
I pushed the gold back into his hand. Orion, wait just a moment. Why make a decision so rashly with such little information? You know so little about these people.
Well,
What makes you decide to bring them on?
Well, they've defeated a minotaur, they've saved people, they can fight off bandits, and look at them. They're very strong and capable young warriors, and, well, one older wizard, but wizards tend to be older, don't they? Do they not? They seem like very capable folk, and from talking with them all the nights, it seems like they get on very well. And again, they're willing to offer their services for far cheaper.
And what of this have you seen? I protected you from 5 hooligans.
Yes, and you did well, and I'm very grateful for your service. I'm not saying anything against you, it is simply I am doing a business decision.
Orion, I ask a favor of an old friend. Allow them to prove themselves before you make this decision. Allow them to show you their true skill. If they are as well off as they claim to be, then I fully understand your business-wise decision to change your employment.
Roll me a persuasion check.
In the meantime of that, could I examine the weaponry they're carrying?
Roll a intelligence check. I will say you can add your proficiency bonus because you are proficient in smith's tools. He pats your shoulder very kindly. I'm sorry, my friend. I can't see how they would lie or know the things that they know if they didn't at least do some of the things that they claim to have done. I'm sorry, my friend.
23 overall.
Thank you. But he does, again, extend to you the gold that he owes you for a 10-day.
Okay. I will take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go seek out Celine.
Aww.
Okay. Serial, as you look at the weapons, battle axes are far heavier than that. A great sword, which is what the warrior's carrying, doesn't move like that. You're willing to bet, and you're a very gambling man, and you're a very knowledgeable man when it comes to weapons and armor. If these are real weapons, you'll eat your armor. You're willing to bet your bottom dollar that they are props, that they are fake, or that they are of the shittiest quality of weaponry you have ever seen.
Oh, Ian, my friend, before you allow our elderly friend to shuffle off,
Akron
may I-
slaps a hand over your mouth. It is wet, it is sweaty, it is gross. But he just shut it. I see opportunity. And he just kind of watches Rattlegast walk to Celine, and then he walks back over to his carriage to inspect his goods. Rattlegast, you approach Celine.
Celine, my dear, do you have a moment?
Yeah, Celine looks up, and she gives you a blank stare, and then she scoots over. there's no recognition in her eyes at the moment.
Are you quite all right, Celine?
Oh, yes, grandfather. Yeah, grandfather. And she, what do you need from me? And she gives a very happy-go-lucky smile. She just looks like her usual self for at least this moment.
Yeah, yes. Did anything happen to you last night, or?
No, no. She just kind of stares off. I talked to those people. We heard them tell an awesome story about a minotaur. And you now notice she's flipped open her book to start drawing you again, like she did the first time. And the page where you used to be has been torn out along with some others. And she just begins drawing you again. And kind of like she's done the... hold on, let me do the painter's kit check. Mm-hmm. With, what is it again?
Dexterity.
Dexterity and guidance. Mm-hmm. So that's a 23, so it's going to be just as awesome as before.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's an immaculate painting.
Would I need to make a roll to use context clues to discern like some kind of memory loss, or can I just...
I'd say an insight check.
Okay.
Let me roll that against my deception just for fun.
For you, actually, it's persuasion.
Oh, it's persuasion, not deception?
You're not deceiving anyone.
Okay. Persuasion. I think that's good.
Yep. So, you do realize that there is some memory loss. And it looks to be genuine.
Do you remember my name, dear?
She gives you the most blank but friendly thing. Grandfather, of course. And she just turns the page, and she even wrote, like, grandfather on top. And she has you as Grandfather Greenfellow. She's completely wrong. And she smiles in... yeah, I love your reaction.
It's a second.
Now, her reaction is... There is something there. She remembers you slightly. It's not like you're a complete stranger, but there's enough there that she just cannot remember your name or some details.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, yes, Grandfather Rattlegas, that's right, yes, of course you remember.
Rattlegas. And she corrects it, but it's like very shittily done. It's like where she's just crossed it out and then wrote the correct name underneath. But she's adding calligraphy to the actual name as you speak.
Young child, I find myself in the most precarious of situations. I find myself at the mercy of this caravan. Would you perhaps have room to carry an old man along?
I cannot carry you, but the wagon's got you. She gives this great smile, but it's again that like blank stare for a moment. Let me ask.
Hey, it's not my first choice, but that would do. That would do.
Yeah. Let me ask. And she looks clearly befuddled and a little annoyed at herself all of a sudden because she's just completely blanking. And you see her going through her notes, and she's like, "Oh, Akerni. I'll be right back." And she puts the book down in your lap and just like sprints over to Akerni.
As you sprint up to him, he looks at you. Yes, what can I do for you, my dear? And he reaches in, grabs you, and pulls you in close.
Yeah, she freezes up almost like a rabbit for a moment, and then she just can't remember anything. And then she's like, Grandfather Rattlegast wants to join us.
Ah, send him to me. Go on. And he pats you on the lower back.
Yeah. She's like wiping a stain off the back of her outfit as she goes back to you. And she says, "Welcome aboard, Granddaddy." She does like the leg out. And, I mean, Rattlegas. Yes. And she offers her hand in a handshake.
Put it there. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You really have pulled me out of a most precarious situation.
I will help you anytime, Rattlegas.
Give me 1 sec, guys. I gotta reload roll 20. But continue on.
Oh, that's okay. You can call me whatever you like. I don't mind. Monocles are here and there. I am who I am.
I see. Well, at least I got your name right. And she starts to lift the book up from your lap and just kind of clutch it to her chest. And she just has that blank, she cannot remember where she met you stare. It's kind of that high, I've already forgotten your name kind of look. But she looks perfectly happy now. And very content that you're content.
Rattlegast.
Yes.
As you move towards the carriages, because there are 3.
Yes.
Acrony approaches you. Hello, Rattlegast, right?
Yes, you've got it. Acrony.
Good. We're already introduced. We're already friends. So,
Yes. Thank you for bringing me aboard. I truly appreciate it.
of course. If you don't mind my prying, what the devil happened? You and Oyen were getting on so wonderfully.
Oh, you know how it is. These young men coming in, stealing the jobs of the old and feeble. It's the same story over and over.
That's just wrong. That's
There's just no respect for one's word anymore, you know?
I that's just damn.
A damned shame.
Exactly. It's a travesty, is what that is. Well,
Yes.
I'll tell you what. I find myself always in need of more guards, as that little tussle at the inn showed me. I'll tell you what. I'll hire you on at the same price that you were working for Oyen for, and you can be in charge of this lot. And he points to Celine, Serial, Wolfenite, and Thier.
Oh! Oh, you are such a gracious host. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. You've truly pulled me out of the mud here. I
Just say
haven't the
you'll do
words.
it.
Of course, I'll do it. Yes.
Wonderful. And he claps your hand in both of his meaty, sweaty paws, and just shakes you up and down, and your like whole arm is moving because he's so enthusiastic.
I do my best to shake his hand.
And he seems to appreciate that, and then he just pulls you in and slaps you on the back. Excellent. Well, gather your troops and let us get on our way. And then he looks at you, Serial, and he winks. And then he goes back to double checking his personal effects and getting ready for the day.
Serial, it looks like we're co-workers now.
It seems that way. Now tell me, your friend Oyen. I've realized something he may have missed.
Oh,
And he may want to talk to our friend Acrony about our services. I will bet you every piece of gold in my satchel right now. Those are not the real weapons they carry.
Interesting. A curious proposition. I, as I'm saying that, I lean close in, and then I whisper under my breath, "Best to wait to do action for now."
So, you
I'll
guys,
keep loose.
you guys are now officially working with uh, Rattleghast.
Right.
He is now officially one of your fellows
We have another hero to the party.
to the Potter.
Grandfather Green Willow will help us out. I mean,
Right into
Rattleghast.
the-
Grandfather Green, I mean Rattleghast. It's now his name forever in Celine's memory because for the life of you, you can't remember if you met him before today.
I'm going to roleplay that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I cast magic.
Yeah. That's why it's not a deception check; it's a genuine persuasion check.
That works for me, yeah.
Shit. So, as you guys travel, I would like let's start with Callie this time. Roll a d20, please.
A d20? Sure.
Yep.
I only rolled well last time, so time for me to mess it up. 19?
Okay. As you guys get to the, as you guys move towards Dragonspear, you get about here-ish. The Troll Mountains do come up, or the Troll Hills, excuse me. The Troll Hills are coming up towards your left side. You do see as evening begins to arrive. You do notice that as you round a bend in the road, there is a human head sitting in the middle of the road, about 100 yards or so, give or take. The reason you can see it is because the sunset is glistening off of the helm that's still on it. If you would, your passive perceptions, everyone?
14.
13.
Passive 14.
You're not a very perceptive bunch.
Actually, it's pretty hard to get much more than that. I mean,
I believe our more perceptive members aren't actually here at the moment.
yeah, I mean, they'd still only have, 15 and 16 for passive.
Fear has a 16.
Yeah.
And Wolfenite has a 15. So, actually, because Wolfenite's driving, he would be able to point it out. And as he sees it, he, bangs the side of the carriage. Boss, there's a man buried in the road up ahead. What?
Huh?
There's a man buried up to his neck in the road, like right there.
Again, Dunqua.
Again, Hagrid, he just kind of pulls his head out of the carriage, looks down the road. Are you sure? Positive. Huh. Pulls his head in, looks at Thier. There's a man in the road. That's odd. Thier just kind of nods. Says nothing. Well, don't run him over. Pull up close. Okay. So you guys approach, and the caravan of 5 has already passed and are not even paying attention. They're getting to the camp spot, which is a set of standing stones about 50 or so yards down the road. That's your designated camp for the night. because it is getting on evening. You do, however, your carriage stops. Your carriages stop next to this guy, and he's buried up to his neck on the side of the road with the word Oathbreaker painted on his forehead.
Because I'm really useful.
Are you correcting it, or are you judging it?
That was my idea, actually.
Oh, judging it?
Well, no, touching it up a little bit.
So,
While having a genuine conversation on why this person got here.
um, so, this guy, as you approach him, he's a human. He is sunburned. He is dehydrated. He's rough as shit. It is obvious. It is to a point where it's so obvious even you notice, and that's without a check. And he just opens one fucking sunburned eyelid, which is impressive to get sunburns on your eyelids. Not impossible, but impressive. As he
There's a moment of confusion as Celine can't figure out how to go in for the hug. And just she like kind of does that thing where she like shimmies herself down like face to face with him, and she's got her like book tucked under her chin as she's drawing him, and just going, "So, hey there." What? Yeah, she will help him.
barely nod his head.
Do I know the term Oathbreaker? Is that, like,
Roll
do I
a
know?
history check.
Can I roll that too? I'm kind of curious.
Yes. Cereal with. Wow, boys! Not only nat 20s, but the same total. I'm impressed. Good work.
Teamwork.
So, in the context that. Let's start in the context that you know it the most. Cereal. You know it as someone who has deserted the army. You know as someone who has betrayed their oath as a knight or servant to whatever person they're serving. That's the first most obvious. You, Rattlegast, know it as a deal breaker. An oath breaker in your line of work or in a caravan's line of work is very not good. Um, it means he's a traitor. It means he's a double crosser. It likely means he's a spy. You never know. But and you're going through the term. The only other term that you guys would know is one Mariana actually provides to you, and there's a group of paladins called the Oathbreakers. These are essentially what you refer to as dark paladins. They are those who have betrayed their gods or their oaths and are now scum. They usually are in charge of mercenary companies, or they engage in highwaymen, and stick ups. They're not good people. This particular man looks more like the former than the latter. He's not strong enough to be a paladin. You're pretty sure, though you can only see him from the neck up. He does look like a normal-ish kind of dude.
Are we still sort of in the midst of the caravan,
left you behind.
Okay?
But they
We
have
basically examine.
yeah, the caravans left you behind. Most of them you gather once they see Oathbreaker on his face, and thanks to Celine, that's now touched up and even prettier. They see that they don't want anything to do with this guy. They're of the opinion he probably is getting what he deserves.
Hmm.
There are obvious wheel tracks going to and from that shows you that he's been passed and nobody's bothered to help him.
Hmm. I'm sitting back and watching.
So, Celine, you give him some water and he drinks it down greedily and just, thank you.
Yeah, Celine not doing the history check is actually just going to ask him the very simple question: "What you doing?" Like it's kind of a head tilt, but there's a little bit of malice in there. She's not a complete idiot.
Being murdered. He croaks out.
Fair enough. So she kind of nods, and then she, instead of laying there, she cross legs. She's like, "But you had to do something. I mean, this doesn't just happen to people and people ignore you. That's logical." And she starts drawing a picture. It's like she starts drawing like him, but in different scenes of doing something bad and asking, "Is that it?" Like trying to guess what he did.
Killing that family member? No. Leader? No.
He croaks out, I didn't marry someone.
Hmm. You
I
left a girl at the altar?
no. I discovered her family are bandits. And I wouldn't marry a family of bandits and be one. You see, at this point, a gentleman in a big purple hat with a carnelian eye patch over one eye and a viola comes strolling up to you. Where's your sense of mercy and decency, lass? And you! And he looks at the wagons. Where's your sense of humanity? Can't you
I
see
was
this
working
poor
on
man?
it.
This poor man is dying.
Yes, and that's why I'm giving him water. And Celine just looks up like completely not phased.
Yes, you bandaged a broken leg. Now will you set it? Or do
I'm
I have to
working
do
on
all the work? And he holds out a shovel to you.
Celine will happily use the shovel.
Can I see just how honest he's being of this?
Where did he come from?
He's one of the camp bards that's been following the camp since the beginning.
Hmm.
You know him. He is a high elf of some description, or at least an elf of some description. He's a bard. You do know that. And he's just got one eye. You can roll an insight check there, Serial. And actually, Rattlegash, roll me one too. Mason, Callie, I want you both to deafen yourselves, please.
Sure. Just like, deafen ourselves?
Yes.
Hold on.
Or mute me, whichever is easier.
Probably easier to mute you.
When it's safe to unmute me, I'll hold the thumbs up.
Cool.
So, you are a grinner. David. That's your background.
Yeah.
You know a story when you hear it. This man is telling a story he thinks will get him out. What he actually did, you don't know. But you can guess it was either worse or better. In his case, he doesn't look like the type to be evil. Or to be, untoward. But he is in a pickle. And he does need your help. Now, this other bard, on the other hand, you think he might know something more. He just... For a bard to chastise people about the way they behave, it's kind of sus.
Yeah. Okay. Bam.
And we're back.
And we're back.
So, for future reference, real quick, since we are on Discord and you do own the channel, you can also right-click on our names and you can actually mute and deafen us as a room owner?
Yes, I can. The only thing is that requires me to shrink my camera views from full screen, and I am recording those views. So it's actually more efficient for me to have you two do it, and because you're not scumbags, I trust you to be honest.
Fair enough. I'm more so meant it as if we don't notice that you're signaling us to undeafen. Because if I
No
remember
worries.
correctly,
I
yeah,
was
you
just
can even
worried
click on the
about
full screen image.
Yeah.
I was just worried about Dave asking a question, so I muted him too because I was like, wait, that could be a problem.
I mean, that is why I said deafen yourselves. I thought that might be easier than trying to mute two people. But anyway, um, Serial, this story seems to be true as far as it goes. Although, how much how much further the story goes is another thing. You have met this particular bard before. You met him in a tavern way back in Baldur's Gate, and you did notice him following you. And
So like, oh, go ahead.
he looks up to the carriage. Well, are you going to let me and the woman dig him out on our own?
Hi
I'd
ho,
take
hi
the
ho.
I'd take the shovel,
There are
slightly
shovels in your
aggressive.
caravan.
No, from his hand.
Oh.
Aggressively.
He just lets it go, smiling. And then he goes over to the wagon with one of Acrony's drivers and grabs another
As
shovel.
he's just going back to the wagon, just kind of stare at him, and then just kind of like, well, you know a digging song, right? Just because clearly a bard, right?
And he goes, digging song. Yes, I do, actually.
Alright.
And he starts to dig, and as he digs, you can hear a rhythm to his digging. You've got to go and dig those holes. Working man or withered souls, emancipated from all he knows. You've got to go and dig those holes. And
He's getting a performance.
he sings this as he's digging to the beat in which he's singing.
I'm joining along in that.
Okay, then I guess I'll dig with them.
So between the four of you, and the inspirational digging songs, which it is the dig song from Holes, by the by, for those of you who know the tune but can't place it
Yeah.
where you know it. In an hour, you have him undug. This guy is now free, and as you pull him up, the bard again just pushes the dirt back in, and is filling it because you don't want to leave a hole in the road. Like these roads are bad enough.
Oh, I'll help. Just making mostly small talk with the bard about this and that.
Wolfenite and Mariana at this point approach and take this guy onto one of the wagons, and are headed towards the campsite. That's about 50 yards off. And you guys manage to fill in the hole in 5 minutes with the four of you. And when you fill in the hole, you get into one of the wagons and you catch up. And you notice that since you've stopped for this guy, you guys are given kind of a cold shoulder, and you're put towards the outskirts of the camp now. But, you did as your employer said. You stopped and talked to this guy. And as you do, he's now cleaned up. He looks far better off. You have a feeling that between Wolfenite and Mariana, they did some healing magic on him. He's now got... He is naked, except for
Yeah,
the loincloth.
I was gonna say, could I do a tailor's kit for him?
Yes.
Or weaver's tools?
Yes. That can be dexterity as well, if you prefer. Otherwise,
Dexterity and, of course, guidance.
Serial, I want you to roll me
Ooh,
a
not
investigation check
good.
real quick. As you were digging him up, you noticed a tattoo. A tattoo that is very noticeable to you, specifically. Because it's one of only a handful of tattoos you've seen. Rattlegast, you can roll it too. You so desire.
I do.
Rattlegast and Serial, you both recognize the tattoo as a silver harp nestled between the horns of a crescent moon. Rattlegast, you know of a group in Faerun, and specifically the Sword Coast, calling themselves the Harpers. This is their symbol. Serial, you notice the symbol because the bard is wearing the same one, except he's wearing it as a brooch. And you and Wolfenite have had dealings with the Harpers and the Order of the Gauntlet. You being of the latter, Wolfenite being of the former. Um, the bard is staying with you guys for now, but as this man is presented some rough spun, but nicer rough spun than he probably was wearing, or maybe not. You're not sure. He's very grateful and puts it on to fight off the chill, and he looks at you, Celine. Bless you.
I'll get it patched up and I'll get this corner right. Sorry.
No, no,
And
no.
she shows her like dirty hands, from shoveling and everything. She's clearly preoccupied.
Acrony and his two drivers. Uh, you all can handle this, yes? I'm going to
I,
go drinking. And he walks into the main carriage.
Yes, yes, we've got. Don't worry about it, Acme. It's handled. Of course.
Um, the bard that you're traveling with just kind of looks and watches Acrony, looks around. So, he looks to you, Celine. Can I trust you to keep a secret, or do I have to help you keep one?
she kind of cocks her head. It's like, I haven't forgotten a thing today. I'll remember. I mean, I'll keep the secret.
He then looks to you, Rattlegast. I trust you can keep a secret.
Of course. My word is my honor.
Hmm. Be sure that's the case.
As long as this secret isn't bringing harm, I wouldn't tell a soul.
Good. He looks to the guy and then looks around. Carlin, go ahead. What the fuck happened?
Hmm?
He's talking to the guy you just dug up. And Carlin, are you sure? I can vouch for at least a few of these guys. He points to Fear, Mason, Fear, Serial, and Wolfenite. I can vouch for these three, at the very least. These three, I can help them forget if they need to. Oh. So, I take it you're on the mission as well? He looks to you, Serial.
I'm actually kind of lost myself because I wasn't here during the Baldur's Gates parts.
Mm. So, you were sent down the road for Othanar, a paladin you met. Him and the monk you saved sent you guys on a mission to investigate the cult of the dragon and follow their stolen goods up north and find out as much as you can about them. That is the mission that you are
Okay,
assigned.
okay, then yes, that's what's doing. I followed the mission.
Excellent. Well, I was on the same mission. I was tracking a shipment of loot going north. But the smugglers I was with, I'm almost sure they were cults of the dragon. They became suspicious of me. I managed to pass along information to a harper at that inn back there. And The members witnessed that meeting. They waited until we got through the clause, and then manufactured a story that I was passing information to bandits. The other merchants in the caravan were unwilling to kill me outright, but they left me buried in the road and let the providence decide my fate. Bunch of up jump cutthroats. I'm I'm headed to Waterdeep. And I have some information, but not much. All I know is that the shipments are going north. Where they're going, I couldn't say. They stop in Waterdeep, I'm sure, but other than that, I can't be certain. Sorry, Xeris. And Xeris, you now know. Just kind of waves his hand. Don't be. It's not a cause of concern. We had a feeling that they would find at least most of you. Well, that's unfortunate. You were one of the ones I'd hoped to get away. He looks to a lot of you. This is why the Cult of the Dragon is dangerous. They are doing something with all that loot. Whether it's using it as funds to amass an army or bribe a few dragons, I'm not sure. But we need to stop them, or at least find out how and what they're up to. Every single village they've raided has ended up this way. Rattleghast, go ahead and roll me a history check. And at advantage.
Bam.
Your particular organization and the people you work with have sent you on very much a similar mission. To partner with the Harpers to find out this information. You were tracking shipments going north. You lost them at Waterdeep. Waterdeep's a big place, a huge place. Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep are the two biggest cities on this coast. 2 of 3, but the third one is way far south. You do know that the Cult of the Dragon is raiding every village that they can find along the Sword Coast, and anything of value they send north. Why, you don't know, but you're supposed to find out, or at least help the Harpers find out. So, you now feel a little better for helping this guy.
Because Salim was with the party when we got a rough estimate, to watch these people up north and everything, right? Because we got the, I actually am gonna have her eyes light up because she goes through the book and is rereading a passage, and she just smiles super wide, actually having clearly remembered something.
True.
The whole reason she was traveling in the first place.
Right.
Says, there's just a big smile, and she goes, well, we'll make sure that they don't get any more money. I mean, we'll take care of it. And we'll use it for something good. Maybe we'll, She looks to Rattleghast, blank stare for a moment. We'll help you not be old anymore. Yeah, you were old last time. And she turns the page over.
I
She says
bust
this
into very audible laughter.
But she says this with genuine seriousness. I'm going to fix your old age. She's so confident.
That's hilarious.
To see the world from the eyes of the youth again.
Leave the innocent to bring such joy. Though there may be a few wheels off a carrot.
I am the correct number of wheels. I have always seen wagons work off 2 or 3. She just turns a page and draws a picture, but it's really, really wrong. Wagons do not work like that. But there's a serious kind of moment where she goes, besides, we're not alone in this, and she looks up at the stars. and just gives a smile. It's like we've got this. We'll find them.
Hmm.
But besides, it looks like they were traveling up north with that one dragon group.
Hmm. Well,
They must have something.
they have lots of things, but what I don't know. I do know that he looks to the five wagons that passed him. I do know that they're part of that shipment. I was hoping to be in Waterdeep to meet them when they arrived. I can still get there. I just, unfortunately, my circumstances. Um, Look, it'll be better if I leave before I cause you all any other trouble. And you see Zeros nod. Very good. Uh, Milady, ladies.
The guy that said he was going to leave, that's the guy with
Yeah,
Oathbreaker
yeah.
on his. Okay.
Well, it's now gone, but yes, he was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
Okay.
I would just cause you problems if I stayed. I need to make it to Waterdeep. I can do so on my own. I tend to work better that way. Um, when you get to Waterdeep,
Where
me, I'll find you, and I can help show you around the city, and I have a few connections there.
Before he sets off, I'm going to give him one of the sets of the guard armor we got
Okay.
and weaponry for a means of self-defense.
He's very appreciative. You see Zaris hand him a pair of water skins and a backpack. His own backpack. You now notice, and he just smiles. Do be sure not to get caught again. That's not funny. I thought it was a real gas.
I mean, you did seem to be up to your neck, and
You see the
don't
guy
get too
just rolls his
buried
eyes.
under the pressure.
Anyway, Zaris and allies. When you get to Waterdeep, ask for a Mr. Charlie. I will come find you wherever you happen to be, so long as I am asked for. Good luck. And he quickly departs. He moves very quickly, and even in chainmail, he moves quietly. Far quieter than you do, Serial.
That's saying something because almost every time you've had to do stealth so far, I have passed.
True. Sometimes it's been closer than others, though. But
You t-
so he does take his leave. Zaris just kind of looks at you all. Well, I shall see you all again in Waterdeep, I am sure. Uh, do be careful. And he tugs on the hat, and as he does, his whole body changes until he's no longer an elf. He's a human. And he walks away towards the rest of the camp, and he pulls out a mandolin and begins to play. As he does so. And that, I believe, is a great stopping point. I don't want to do too much more, because some really impressive story stuff is going to happen soon.
we want the rest to be here.
Yep. But,
There is something that I want to do in the night
yes.
that maybe we could do before
Yeah,
ending, so I don't think it'll take that long.
that's fine.
So I want to watch the group that took over shoot, what's his name? The bird
Oh,
keeper.
yes.
I want to watch the group that took over Oyen's caravan and wait to see if one of them isolates themselves.
Oh yeah, I want to keep a close eye on them too.
Roll perception checks, the both of you, please.
Dang it.
No, they keep very much close together. Although you notice that where Oyen usually parked wherever he wanted, and usually it was towards the outskirts, he's now in the center. They have moved him strategically throughout the day. They have moved him into the center of the pack. Serial and Rattlegast, you both know this as the safe zone in any large body of traveling anything. Herd animals, caravans, whatever. This is the safe zone.
Also the most likely to be attacked.
But there's at least other people to get through before you get there. So they have tried to get him out of the line of fire and pull him to a safer location.
Okay.
They seem to still be yucking it up. Still seem to be as boisterous as ever.
And I never see any of them like wander off on their own.
No, they stay well in the camp. They don't go towards the edges at all. Roll an insight check if you both wouldn't mind. They're weird. But no, none of them ever seem to be alone. In fact, when they actually go to you go to the bathroom, all 5 of them go together. They're odd. But eccentricities are eccentricities.
Okay.
Celine, is there anything you want to do in the night?
Well, I'm assuming that I finally get to have a little conversation with my stars.
You do. It is a beautiful night out tonight.
Yep, so I have to stay up and do that. But it's actually an angry conversation tonight.
Oh?
Well, they took something from me.
This is true.
And I'm going to have Celine... how should I word this? She's basically in a heated argument with nobody. So if anybody comes by, they're just hearing her demanding, to give her something back. And then she's just lost in this conversation. And then she basically goes completely blank. Like she forgot where she was in the conversation. And then it's just repeating that same cycle all night.
And you're staying up all night?
And yes, she will stay up all night.
Roll me a Constitution save.
Con save. And 15.
And roll me a Wisdom save at disadvantage.
Sure.
Cyril would actually be keeping up all night gathering any extra scrap metal he could find around.
Roll a investigation check and a Constitution save. So you do suffer a point of exhaustion, Mason. You do find scrap metal though, between tin and various, nails that come out of the wagons for whatever reasons, and just the old armor and old weapons that you aren't using. There's
I'm basically be smelting it down into ingots.
Do not have a smelter on you.
Not yet.
But
I speak of what we're going to be doing in the future.
yes, you can do that. Celine, you do not suffer a point of exhaustion. However, you are going to have to take a long rest if you want to cast any spells today.
Fair enough. I'm actually going to play that wisdom off, as I don't even remember why I'm angry.
But
Where can I put the point of exhaustion again?
Huh?
The point of exhaustion, where did I put it again?
It's a thing you can actually turn on in your character sheet. The same way you kind of turned on always toggle advantage. In that same area, there's a exhaustion tracker.
Okay. To do.
I can pull it up on your character sheet if you can't find it. Yeah, show exhaustion tracking on. There you go. And exhaustion level 1. There you go. All right.
Awesome.
Yep.
And,
So
yep.
that is where we will end for tonight. Everyone in the group, or the three of you, excuse me, each are going to get 100 experience points.
Woo.
Um, Rattlegast, I want you to have 50 extra. Mason, I want you to have 50 extra. And Celine, I want you to have 50 extra.
Aw.
Rattlegast, that was great attempts there with your persuasion checks. And very quick thinking to go find your new friends. Serial, very good rolls for those checks to see if the weapons were real or not. Also, helping a Harper is always a good idea. Celine, playing your character as flawlessly as ever, and also engaging in some of the more interesting, hilarious moments today.
We're gonna fix old age, and we're gonna fight dragons. We are doing really well.
Yes, and Grandpa Greenman, Rattlegast.
I like Grandfather Greenwell. Thank you. I think that was an awesome name.
And Father Greenwellow, I mean Rattlegas, I mean Granddaddy, I mean.
We just put you on the character sheet now, aka Green.
So my plan is that as all this stuff becomes partial information to her, she starts making a whole new mythology around us. A whole new
Excellent.
story. So there's gonna have nothing in common, but just little hints.
It's great.
So the things Grandfather Green Willow Radagast has done.
Anyway, guys and gals, that's where we're going to cut it for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, don't forget that Tasha's Cauldron of Everything does come out November 17th. Pre-order it on D&D Beyond and pre-order a physical copy now so you don't miss out. It is now Thanksgiving. Halloween is done and gone, and we miss it already. But Thanksgiving's coming up, and I know 2020 has been a shit year. But it's not over yet. There's still hope, and you know what? There's still a lot to be thankful for. So, come Thanksgiving, really, really look at your life and think of what's around you that you should be thankful for. I'm sure most of you have health. I'm sure a lot of you, still have loved ones that are dear and near, or dear and far. But, be thinking about that, because, Thanksgiving is still a holiday, and I think even now it's one of the more important holidays, especially through this year. But thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I know my fantastic players appreciate it. We were short Fear, our Death Domain Tortle Cleric, played by Mr. Whitehill. We were short our Earth Genasi Wildfire Druid, played by Mr. Matt. And we were short our Satyr Oath of Ancients Paladin, Mariana, played by Eric. However, to my three players who are here, thank you so very much. I'm always happy when at least half the group shows up. And I do greatly appreciate it. So once more, we had Serial, our Rune Knight, played by Mr. Mason.
Dig another hole, slay another cockatrice.
Yep. We had our half-orc, Mr. Rattlegast, played by David.
There's just no more decency in the world. Your word is just nothing. You just throw it in the bin.
You're really good at that old man voice, I gotta say.
It does
Thank
crack
you.
me up. It's inherently funny.
Yours takes the cake.
Yeah, you sound old and southern there, Mason. But, and then, of
In a
course,
good way.
we had
In a good
the
way.
ever-enjoyable Celine, our cleric, warlock hybrid, played by the lovely Callie Cat.
I promise I won't forget you all.
Yeah.
I won't forget you all, so she'll forget some of you, but not all of you.
I'm
Anyway,
totally
guys,
not going to play that up sad. Totally not going to be heartbreaking by the end of it.
Anyway, guys, I am your Master of Dungeons. I am Dr. John Wolfenstein. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on Tyranny of Dragons. Good night.